On the economy, economic recovery is said to be the slowest since World War II. What are the things that Congress needs to do, if anything, to help it along? What are your priorities?
I do think Congress can do a lot on this. I do think, and I think most economists agree with me that the U.S. Congress can do one thing that will really help, and that is if they will send a signal to the markets that we can handle our debt and deficit, and we can handle the big challenges we have, reforming some of the big programs and all that, clean up some of the messes from the past. If we send a signal that we can handle that, it'll help our economy. Because what it does is it gets a lot of capital off the sidelines. It gets a lot of foreign capital coming here to the U.S. They want to be in the U.S. They're having problems in China right now, having problems in Europe right now. They want to be in the U.S. This is where they want to be. And you're seeing manufacturing jobs grow here again. There's a lot of very positive things about this. So I do think that we need to send a signal to the markets and just to the business community, to the nation at large, that we can handle our big problems. That'll help. But in the meantime, there are lots and lots of things that we can do to create jobs. I have a bill, for example, with Scott Brown of Massachusetts, Republican, and Forbes magazine said it is the #1 job creator in Washington. We haven't been able to get it through the system yet, but it's an angel investor law, and to try to help give them a little bit of a tax incentive to get in there and help these startup businesses or the businesses that want to take it to the next level. And you know, Forbes says that's #1. That's great. But I have lots of other things I'm working on that have everything from like community colleges. In Arkansas, we get our community colleges involved in economic development. A lot of states don't. I think they ought to take the Arkansas model, and when a Caterpillar or someone wants to locate there, hey, get your community college to help them train. I don't want those jobs to go overseas. Let's find a place in the U.S. where we can make that happen. There's a bill I'm working on with Mark Warner of Virginia. He's actually a Democrat, but he has some Republican support for this as well, where you know how the Arkansas industrial development folks, the economic development folks, they will put together a package to get a company to come here. Mark Warner has a view that there should be also a national incentive for companies that are coming from overseas just to go to the U.S. We don't care where they go, really, just come to the U.S. So here's a little sweetener coming from the federal government to come here. Now, other countries do that like crazy. U.S. government doesn't do that. But we ought to think about that. You know, so there's lots of ways to do this. And when you're talking about job creation, there are many, many different ways to do it. And, you know, people talk, I have a bill on regulation. That's been a concern here in the U.S. with Rob Portman, who was on a very short list to be Romney's pick for vice president. So I guess I don't have to be nice to Senator Portman anymore. No, I really enjoy working with him. But we have a bill, we call it Portman Pryor, and it's a reg reform bill. And it's good. If we pass it, it's going to change the way we regulate, which is good. And this doesn't just go after EPA or, you know, pick one regulator or anything like that. This is really looking at all regulation, looking at the Administrative Procedures Act and how we do all regulation. We hadn't updated that thing in 40 or 50 years. It's time. You know, let's modernize it. Let's make it good for the 21st century, and let's try to move forward on that.